Hello and welcome to Squidly Bits! Woo! The channel where we do the little bit quicker videos and the bestest tutorials on the internet. And today I'll show you the best 3 ways to up your Warhammer weapons game once and for all. I will tackle hazard stripe blades, power swords, and I will even tackle molten steel lava blades. Without further ado, let's get to painting. Oh, what's that, Steve? Oh, you're wondering where you can get all of these amazing colors that will be used in all of these tutorials. Well, Steve, thanks for asking, because all of these amazing colors can all of them be found in our 3 paint sets that we've made in association with Vallejo. Just make sure to check them out. It's never been easier to follow our guides before. The first weapon I'll be showing you how to paint today will be the hazard stripe Chainsword. This is perfect for any Space Marines, unloyal Space Marines, Imperial Guards, Traitor Guard, anything that can have hazard stripe, so pretty much everything in 40k. And to do this, you'll need the following paints: Deck Tan, Sun Yellow, Ice Yellow, Black, Parasite Brown, and Silver. Step number 1 will be to cover the entire flats of the blade with Deck Tan. Here I make sure to dilute the paint with some water to not get any of the ugly textures you might get. And here you might have to add a couple of layers. Once you have a nice coat of Deck Tan and it's dry, we can add some Sun Yellow over it. And again, this might take more than 1 coat, so don't panic. Now that we have a blade that looks incredibly yellow, we'll make sure to tone it down a bit. By mixing Sun Yellow and Parasite Brown 50-50, we can start adding some glazes to the sides where we want a bit of a shadow. If you want to push the shadows even more, you can add a final glaze of only Parasite Brown. Then we'll move over to the part that might be a bit scary for some of you. Let's paint the actual hazard stripes. Now you want to bring out the black paint, some steady hands, and an iron will. Then you simply add 1 stripe at a time. Here I like to paint the first line and then push and push and push until I reach the desired width. Then you can fill in the first line. Then when painting the next, I sort of creep up onto the first line, meaning I deliberately make the first stroke further away than the final width, and then just creep up closer and closer. But now once you've painted this entire flats out, you're now wondering, Lucas, hey, how do I flip this and put it symmetrically on the other side of the blade? Well, you see, the trick here is to pull the line over the back of the blade. Then once all these parts are painted, we can super easily see where the lines will begin on the other side of the blade. Then it's just a matter of reproducing the same steps as on the front. And bada bing bada boom, you have some hazard stripes. But in this step, I find them to look quite ugly. If you would just leave it like this, I will smack you on the fingers and shame your entire army, Steve. That's right, I'm watching you, Steve. So now it's time to bring out the coolest tool in the shed, the sponge. Yes! Once again in a Squidly Bits video, we're bringing out the sponge. Just by dipping this in some black paint and then gently dab this on the edges, we'll get some stellar freaking textures.
Circling my head top, should have been more cautious. Now I got what I wanted. Many I've been here before, made it out of 11 more.
Then we can do an edge highlight using Ice Yellow and make sure to trace some of these black dots created by the sponge with the same color.
Remember when you wanted to, remember that I said my shit.
And boom! Now the hazard stripes are fully done and it's looking amazing. So now it's time to move over to the metallic parts of the blade. Here I'll keep it super simple for you guys. I just cover them with silver. Once it's dry, I dilute some black paint till we have a nice wash consistency. Then just apply this wash to all of the silver areas.
When it drops, you'll be keen. Bringing let me get your juiciest piece. Can't remember when I've had the same piece. The shops of the club never had no boundary.
And if you accidentally went a bit ham on some of the areas, we can reintroduce some of that silver in highlights or edge highlights if you want that. Which means that it's now time for a small reveal. Of course you can go how bananas you want with blood effects and shit, but generally this is how I do my chainswords. The next blade I'll show you how to paint will be the lava molten steel swords. This is perfect for your salamanders, your other flame themed miniatures, or heck, even your Santa Claus diorama. And the paints you will need for this are the following: moon yellow, hot orange, scarlet blood, deck tan, black, and ice yellow. Similarly to the first sword, we'll start everything by getting some deck tan on the blade. Then I'll cover the entire blade with moon yellow. Then to get this effect, I'll start glazing the hot orange towards the edges, the tip and the guard, because I want the blade to look like it has a really hot core. And once you're satisfied with the orange, we can do the same thing but with the scarlet blood, but on a slightly smaller surface. Then to really make this feel like molten steel or lava, I'll edge highlight the entire blade using black paint. Once these edge highlights are all set, you can bring out the sponge once again and gently add small black imperfections stretching across the blade coming from the edge. And with that, you should have the quickest and most easy way of painting a really cool blade that looks something like this. The last and final blade I'll show you in this video will be how to tackle my new favorite way of painting power swords. You've all seen these beautiful blue shining swords, but honestly, I've grown a bit tired of them. That was until I found this freaking way of painting power swords. So instead, I've started doing these sort of lightning bolt power swords. You start off by covering the blade with dark sea blue. Once that's dry, you bring out your turquoise and start doing these lightning bolts going from the power supply to the edges. And to get these nice and uneven lightning bolts, I let my hands vibrate ever so slightly, and with a gentle touch and a really diluted paint, you get these perfect lightning bolts. And once you have a pattern you're satisfied with, you can move in with blue-green and only applying this to about 40% of the bolts that are the closest to the power supply. And to really make this sword pop and really make it look like it's glowing from the power supply, we make a 50-50 mix of blue-green and ice yellow and add this closest to the power supply and on a super small surface. And with this, you should have an amazing blade that's super easy to paint and very quick, that looks something like this. There you have it, guys, my top 3 ways of painting your 40k weaponry. Is there anything else you would like us to paint on this channel? Make sure to leave a comment telling us, oh Lucas, paint this or paint that. And guys, if you want to watch these videos a week in advance and even support us, make sure to head over to our Patreon, because not only will you get to see behind the scenes footage, you will also get to hang out with maybe the bestest and nicest community on this entire globe. So do make sure to go over to our Patreon. And with that said, have a nice day. Bye bye!